Hey everyone, Oak Norton here with Scripture Notes, and I just stumbled on this cool video I watched. It's not very long, but it helps show from Dr. John Bergsma here, and I don't know anything about him, but it's a cool video. It helps to prove that the Exodus actually happened with two different points. And so I wanted to show you how I'm going to tie this into my Scripture Notes so I can find it in the future if I ever want to share it with someone or watch it again. And so here I am in my Scripture Notes, and I'm just going to kind of demonstrate how I did this. So I started off thinking, okay, here's a video that talks about the mercy seat and about the Constitution of Israel. And I won't spoil the whole video, but in short, there's proofs that because of the way that the tabernacle was designed, that the Ark of the Covenant was designed, it was very similar to what the Egyptians had, except there was nothing in between the cherubim on top of the Ark of the Covenant. And so what Dr. Bergsma shows here is God was using a symbol that Israel was familiar with, but instead of putting some Egyptian deity in the middle of this lid structure, there's nothing, because God is not a God that can be formed by man's hands. He's not an idol to be worshipped like the Egyptians had. And so it's really kind of a cool thing to think about, that God just said, yeah, let's use something you're familiar with culturally, and we're going to remove that thing because the mercy seat is just going to be a place where God would appear and give his commands to the high priest or Moses. So how do you then take this video and store it in Scripture Notes? So the first thing I did was I thought, well, I'm going to do a search for a couple of things here. I'm going to do mercy and seat. So I'll find all the verses that have both mercy and seat in it, or cherub with a wild card. And after I did that, I was like, okay, I think that's not exactly what I want. I'm going to actually do mercy seat in quotes, so it's an exact match phrase, and or cherub, so it's going to find either or, and I've got a wild card there after cherub. And then going a little further here, then I added Ark and Covenant. So I put that inside parentheses because I want to do an or in front of this combination of words, but Ark and Covenant will only find verses that have Ark and Covenant in that verse. So I do that search and I find 294 verses, and I clicked on Create CN, which is a collection note. So all 294 verses come over here into a collection note, and then I named it Proof of the Exodus, and hitting the wrong button on my keyboard here, Ark of the Covenant, Constitution of Israel. And then I put in a couple of different tags, Exodus, Ark of the Covenant, and Constitution, and I saved it. And I put a link to the YouTube video here. And in the near future, you're actually going to be able to preview and watch videos right in collection notes, just so you know. But for now, I'm just linking to it along with all these verses. So then I thought, okay, what's my next step? And I thought, well, I need to go to the study helps, because there's going to be Ark of the Covenant in the study helps, both in Topical Guide and the Bible Dictionary, as you can see here. So I opened both of those up, and in the Bible Dictionary, there's 193 results, but there's a ton of those that do not mention the Ark of the Covenant. It's the story. So there's a whole section on some of these, a lot of extraneous verses. I don't want to add all of those into my note. But I do notice at the top, it's also known as the Ark of Jehovah and the Ark of the Testimony. I did a search for Ark of Jehovah and I didn't find any results in the scriptures, but Ark of the Testimony, I did find some results, created a collection note from those. Actually, I could have just done it from the search results. That's probably what I did. And you can bulk move, just like right here, you can activate the bulk move icon, when you do that on a collection note or a set of search results, you can then check this box and it will select all of those verses. And then I can grab this drag icon and drag it over to my collection note and drop them in. So I did that with Ark of the Testimony here. There's 24 verses. And then right here from the topical guide results, there's 37 results. And so I did that bulk move as well. And now my collection note has 326 verses. Now, not every one of these verses is going to have something to do with the Ark of the Covenant, because I did a wildcard search for cherubim. So I could go through, if I wanted to take the time to go through and clean this up a little bit, like these references in Genesis are before the Ark of the Covenant, but it's referencing cherubim in the Garden of Eden and stuff. So I can remove those verses. There's only a couple of them there in Genesis. And then down below, I know if I go down here to like Ezekiel, let me activate these verses here to edit these. If I go down to Ezekiel, there's going to be some visions that Ezekiel has that involve cherubim. And so I can take those out and clean this up a little bit before I kind of finalize it. And so those are a couple of things I could do to kind of clean that up. But this is a great way to make a link from any of these verses. If I'm ever thinking about, like, I've got this video I want to send to somebody, I can just come into any of these verses and click the notes next to it and access that note, grab the link here and email it to somebody. Or in the very near future, I can actually share this collection note with somebody. That should be happening very soon. So those are just a few ways to kind of store notes and put them into a collection note, link them to scriptures, doing searches for the scriptures, using the study helps to bring in more search results that's already been organized. And so anyway, I hope that's helpful for you as you find some cool piece of content. This is a little bit big, there's 300 plus results, but sometimes you'll just have something and you want to link it to a handful of verses. And if you can just do some searches, if you can think of, like, what are some terms and ways that I should search for this? Is it going to be an exact match? Is it going to be a wildcard search? And then combine those things. Use parentheses. Use your old math operators. Put those parentheses around it, and then put that or between them to aggregate all of those search terms. And that way you get a comprehensive search that you can either study from or just link content to. And with that, that is a quick look at how to link to outside content. Have a great day.